Hello and welcome to the 2014 Utica Home Track Series for your 9th race here at the Daytona International Speedway. This is one of only 2 Superspeedways that we're going to, and the other one is not even a points event. That's going to be for the All-Star event. So, not a style of racing these drivers encounter very often. We'll have to see what they can do today. There actually isn't much in the way of news for the Utica Home Track Series. It's been a pretty slow news week. But we do want to mention that going toward the midpoint of the season, which will be in a couple of events, that would be Indianapolis, race 11 would be the halfway point of the year, that we're starting to approach the All-Star Challenge, which means some drivers need to try and get a win so they can make sure they're locked into that event. And also, there's a bunch of drivers that we're not certain of their plans after the halfway point of the year, so we'll have to see if they're going to still be participating in the series after the All-Star Challenge. But, with that in mind, let's go racing. Jordan Culp, car number 25, had the pole for this, but oh no, a tragedy on the start. The 25 car is going to have a catastrophic failure, and that is going to put him out before the race even begins. He'll be able to crawl across the start-finish line, but that's going to be it for car number 25, as Jordan Culp, he was hoping it would be a good day for his team, but he goes out very early. This would put Alex Pedro, the third-place driver, on the front row, and he would lead the cars to the green. Alex Pedro came in only a few races ago, made his first start in Darlington, but has already been having a great run this year, climbing up the charts, both in the Rookie of the Year standings and the championship points, so I can expect some good things out of Alex Pedro as this season goes along. His teammate Avery Pedro not having the same amount of success, he is yet to make a race. Let's talk about that bright orange car to the outside, Prudence Littlejohn. Car number 79, she's been running in this series part-time since 2012 and has not had a whole lot of success. She got the pole earlier this year at Rockingham, but that was about it. That was her only start this season, and they have cut down the amount of races for this car significantly, so this is one of the races she's going to run, and it's good to see an unsponsored car up near the front getting some publicity. Maybe something can be thrown their way. They have sponsored earlier on this year, but nothing came of it. Caution 1, lap 3. This has been a bad day for the Colt Miller cars. Greg Miller, wall riding on the top of the track, slowing down the top line, makes contact with Courtney Miller, and he goes around. There's Alex DeMarco, and we have a big one. Right near the back of the pack, the 17 of Courtney Miller, off their tires. And this is going to be a rough incident on lap number 3. Let's take a look at another angle. Courtney Miller just had nowhere to go, got into the back of the 18, and cars were just going everywhere, and she just gets plowed by the 56 of Alex May, who's making his first career start. Let's get another angle of that. There's Alex May, we're on board with him. He's trying to work his way through it. He almost made it through, but Joshua Michael making contact is going to do him in. He would still keep racing, but he would be heavily damaged. Joshua Michaels and Courtney Miller both went out of the race. Nicholas Guerra, car number 6, having a decent run today, but it could be better. He started off dead last, but has already worked his way up to about the 20s on the racetrack. He is still losing points as John Cittadino and Andy Thomas are both ahead of him, but the race is still young, he can still catch up. And that 6 car has proven that it can run very well, especially under pressure. He has rarely had a bad finish this year in that My Little Pony machine. Going up closer to the front, Dustin Capps, car number 48, having a great effort in that 48 machine. He's one of those drivers we haven't talked about much this year. The Capps siblings have not had a lot of success this year, despite the fact that last year was so good for them. Don Capps winning the season finale and the Rookie of the Year award. But Dustin Capps is going underneath the 30 of Alex Pedro. A little help from the 79 and 26. He is going to go to the race lead, and that would put him up near the front. But we had a caution on lap number 12. Michael Aurelio, car number 34, hoping to pick up some pieces today. He's been having a decent year, makes some contact with Hunter Fellows, and it's going to collect Nicky Allen and Joseph Bryant. Sam Crawford gets a little bit of it as well. But fortunately, nothing too bad. I don't think any of these drivers will end up going out of the race. Here's another angle. There's Joseph Bryant, who the NSCRA team has had a lot of struggles this year. Bryant's been their top driver. but he is going to get caught up in this wreck early, and that's going to throw a monkey wrench into his day. Nicky Allen also getting caught up, but look at Hunter Fellows. We're on board with him right now. He gets turned, makes contact with Joseph Bryant. Look at that save. Not many drivers could keep it on track like that, but Hunter Fellows was able to in that 94 machine. But we had another incident under caution. Charles Jackson's going to make a rather odd maneuver, doesn't slow down, crashes into the back of the Flying Dutchman, Robert Piet, and that's going to end his day as he would damage that car terminally. That wasn't all under caution. Car number 90 would get slowed down and gets turned by Greg Miller. I think, I'm not sure if Miller did that purposely or if he just didn't slow down in time, but this has been a real kick down the 90 car lap. Cecil Brooks also had a problem under caution. He went down a piston, well, a cylinder actually, so car number 02 would go down pit road for a lengthy pit stop and see if they could try and get it back on track to salvage as many points as possible. Prudence Littlejohn would take the lead under caution as Dustin Capps would lose it going to the line. Prudence Littlejohn out front trying to lead a lap and maybe salvage a couple of points this season. Ryan Estabomi, car number 4 on track. He is replacing Gabriel Montoya as we mentioned last week, but this is the first time he's gotten the B behind that race car. What they did basically was they took the 99, plastered the 4 logo over top of it with some duct tape, and they're running it on track. But despite the crude way they put that 4 on there, having a great effort as he sits in second place on the circuit. Joseph Anesto is having a great run as well, as he's going to get a good draft line underneath Prudence Littlejohn, and this is going to take the race lead with a little help from Stephen Carter, who's having a great effort in that Journey machine. Joseph Anesto has had a lot of bad luck in Utica Home Track Series competition, but today could be an exception, as he's out front. This is the second time he's led laps this year, the first time being Darlington, which unfortunately sent him out early. We mentioned that Cecil Brooks was down a cylinder. Well, he's going to get lapped by the leaders, and this is going to cause some trouble, as everyone trying to avoid him. 3 cars make it past, but everyone else is going to get held up, and that top lane especially. Prudence Littlejohn goes from the lead and is falling back rapidly. Ian Dutta stuck behind them, along with Dylan Young and Ryan Estabomi. So the 0-2 of Cecil Brooks being unable to pull out of the way is going to really mess things up near the front. Zachary Robinson, car number 5, is going to take the race lead. The Robinsons at the beginning of the year we mentioned had a little bit of a bet going. Who could do better, Zachary Robinson or Andrew Robinson? As it currently stands, looks like Zachary Robinson might be starting to take it away from Andrew Robinson, who has failed to make an event in many starts. So Robinson having a great effort. Joseph Anesto would pass underneath with a little help from the 81 of Reggie Lee. And Joseph Anesto would end up leading another lap, but not before Reggie Lee would cycle underneath and take the race lead for himself. The 81 car, which was normally driven by Daniel Voiles, was sent over to the SNR racing team that runs the Biggie Spencer machine. And Reggie Lee has had a great season so far, despite his limited starts. He's made every single race, and despite some troubles at like Montreal and Mosport, where he finished rather low, still pretty good for someone who's just starting out in the sport, and now he's up near the front. But here we have some slow cars, Alex May and Gene Sanford. They are blocking up the entire racetrack. Here comes Guerra, DiPetrio, and the rest, as now what was a 3-car pack is now a full pack of cars racing near the front. Zachary Robinson is going to make the pass underneath, and he would lead the race lap. But we have a lot of drivers going nearby, and there is Nicholas Guerra, as we mentioned. Remember, he started on the final row and has now worked all the way to the front, as he's battling with Reggie Lee for the 3rd place position. So Nicholas Guerra might just extend his points lead even more leaving this week. But wait a second, we have another slow car. That's Harrison Langford, who was caught in that first caution. See how this will affect everything. Reggie Lee gets held up. I think Nicholas Guerra is going to get away again on the outside. Wait, Langford pulls up a little bit, and that's going to leave that in a very odd scenario. It looks like Guerra's going to get kicked back. Joseph Anesto is going to pass the 5-car with Zachary Robinson for the lead yet again. This has been the battle on track for the most part in these last couple of laps, though at the current moment, Alex Petro has the race lead. well, sorry, the most laps led. Cecil Brooks, the O2 car, again causing trouble, holds up Joseph Onesto, and that's going to cause Reggie Lee, Dustin Capps, Karen Minazuki. There's Trek Togger getting by as well. Togger's been really good at this racetrack, and he's almost won here before. We could see him maybe getting up there. As Reggie Lee back out front in that number 81 machine. He has got a huge lead over Dustin Capps, but that will not stay long as he has no drafting help, and Minazuki and Capps are working together. Conrad Wilson, the Finnish driver, has slowed down heavily, and it's really slowing down Stephen Carter as well. That car is wiggling. We're getting a report that they have a tire down on the 35 car, and that is an absolute shame. Conrad Wilson was hoping that this could be the day to get the 35 car out near the front. Usually the third car on the Aurelio team has good luck at Daytona. Last year it was Jonathan Benton's behind the wheel. This year it's Conrad Wilson, but he's going to have to pull that car down pit road under green, and that's going to kill the 35 car's run if he's trying to wheel that car back to pit road. So Conrad Wilson, maybe he'll get a break next week. Karen Minazuki would end up taking the race lead away from Reggie Miller. Karen Minazuki has been the biggest surprise out of the rookie class this year, especially given that she wasn't even intended to run this year. Ryan Racel was supposed to run that car until he got injured in the Royal Rumble event. So, Karen Minazuki, having an exceptional effort in that 09 car, makes her way around the 00 of Alex DeMarco, who is another slow car. The DeMarco cars, I just want to mention, have not had a good race either, as both Brooks and DeMarco are off the lead lap. But here comes Prunes Littlejohn, girl power near the front, as Littlejohn is going to take the race lead in that unsponsored 79. This has been a great race for that team, and possibly their best run of the season. But Karen Minazuki would take the lead back yet again. Justin Capps still running on the outside there, as we had green flag pit stops the next lap. You see a lot of those cars coming down, but not everyone came down pit road. Car number 81, Reggie Lee, decided to stay out. He's running behind that 02 of Cecil Brooks for some reason. And he decided to give himself an extra lap lead. Maybe he could win on the cycle. But he would come down pit road, and a surprise near the front, Joseph Bryant would take the race lead in that 80 machine. Yes, the driver who was involved in that second caution, now out front. He, along with the 87 of Amanda Pericles, have decided to stay out for a longer duration, see if they could maybe catch a caution to come down pit road and be caught up with the rest of the pack. So it's a gamble on Bryant's part, but at this point in the race, I can understand him trying to do anything he can to stay up near the front and with the main pack. Speaking of Amanda Pericles, she's running in second place, currently behind Gene Sanford, the lap car. Pericles has not had a good season in that 87 car, hoping that today can be something that turns it around. She's hoping for that caution to come out so that she could perhaps be up with the main pack and get up toward the front. I also want to mention Sam Crawford. Crawford runs up into the top 10 despite getting involved with that caution early on, and he's been running consistently with this group all night. He is, I believe, the only Angel Navarro machine in the event, so great job for Sam Crawford, who is usually overlooked when we mention the members of the Navarro team. He has not won a race yet in that 49 car, so today could be the day. Joseph Bryant would eventually run out of time and come down pit road after leading 10 laps, and Jeffrey Finguy would come back into the race lead. Finguy was basically absent for the beginning of this year. The entire team has had struggles, but he's back on a track that he knows how to run. This was his debut race all the way back in 2011. He brought that 62 SVG Chevy to the track and wrecked out early with William Duncan, who would end up becoming champion later on. But here comes John Cittadino. The 72 car has run every single race at this track ever since we started back in 2011. And there is the 79 of Pruens Littlejohn. Oh no, that is not good. The 79 car put so much effort into this race weekend, and that car is going to end up going out in smoke, and that's going to do it for the 79 machine. So this is going to be a huge financial tap on the team. They were hoping for a lot better today, and they definitely deserved a lot better. We're going back to John Cittadino, who we mentioned was catching up to the 92 of Jeffrey Finguy. Looks like he is going to do it, as he's on the inside, but wait, there's Michael Aurelio in the 34. He is a lapped car, he's slow. Which side is he going to take? Is he going to help out Finn Guy? Is he going to help out Cittadino? He's kind of in the middle. He's deciding. And he's going to pull to the outside and let Cittadino go through. Jeffrey Finn Guy is going to get hung out to dry. There's Trek Togger and Hunter Fellows up there as well. As now John Cittadino to the inside in that number 72 machine. He won the season opener at Bristol this year. And it was an emotional win for him as he has not won since 2011. There is the 48 of Dustin Cap following close behind. Look who else is up there. Ronnie DiPetrio, car number 2. Where did he come from? Karen Minazuki still there. There's Fellows and Togger. There are a lot of drivers that can win this race that are sitting up near the front of the pack. But Cittadino is going to stay in the race lead. More lap traffic coming up. How will this factor in? There is the 35 of Conrad Wilson. So another DHL radio car is going to throw things off. He blocks the bottom line. Justin Capps is going to thread the needle between the two DHL cars. And now it's a 2-car battle near the front. Cittadino, Capps. Cittadino is a 3-time winner. Justin Capps has not won a race yet. Who will be able to do it? We're running out of time. There is 2 more lapped cars. Alex DeMarco and Amanda Pericles. Looks like Justin Capps going for the draft on the 00. Cittadino sticks to the outside line. Who can get it done? Final lap. It's not over yet. There is Jeffrey Finn Guy. If he can get by these cars quick enough, he can maybe challenge as well. They get by Amanda Pericles. I don't see another lap car for a while, but wait a second. I think I see Cecil Brooks up there. Cecil Brooks has always been causing trouble. Justin Capps drafting behind. He's going to make the move underneath. Capps going in the turn 3 on the final lap. Who's going to get it? It's a drag race. Capps underneath. Will they run into the lap traffic? Can Cittadino get some momentum on the high side? There's Cecil Brooks in the 02. Cittadino pulls back in line. Can he get underneath? I don't think so. He tries, but he's out of time. Justin Capps wins his first career Utica Home Track Series race. What a finish for the 48 car. Only like 1 lap prior, if I am correct about that statement, comes in and takes the lead on the last lap. Thanks to some lap traffic and a little help, Justin Capps is going to win the race here under the lights at Daytona. So congratulations to the Capps Motorsports teams, and he is going to be in the All-Star Challenge. But we had an incident post-race. Nikki Allen, car number 90, that car is going to grenade on her just to cap off a rather disappointing day at Daytona. Hopefully they can regroup and come back next week. Here are your race results. Justin Capps is your race winner, followed by John Cittadino, Jeffrey Finn Guy, and Trek Togger. Both having great runs. They both love this racetrack. Ryan DiPetrio was your rookie of the race, followed by Karen Minazuki, Reggie Lee, Sam Crawford, Neil Evans, and Annie Thomas. Joseph Anesto, a career best finish for him. Alex Pedro, Alex Tanker, Julian Kenneblez Jr., Ian Dutta, Jack Richardson 16th, followed by Eric Bush. Nicholas Guerra is going to pull off a solid 18th place. Zachary Robinson and Skylar Johnson round out your top 20. Stephen Carter, Joe Samaniego, Dylan Young, Joseph Bryant, and Ryan Estabomi round out the top 25. And off the lead lap were Pericles, Aurelio, Fellows, Piet, and Allen. Greg Miller was also 1 lap off the pace, with Alex DeMarco 2 laps down. Bruce Littlejohn went out of the race with only 2 laps to go. Conrad Wilson, Harrison Langford, Gene Sanford, and Alex May all disappointing runs, 3 laps off the pace. Brooks with 4 laps down. And then we had Jackson, Miller, Michaels, and Culp going out of the event. So they did not get a lot of time on track. Let's take a look at the point standings. Nicholas Guerra still leads, but Annie Thomas and John Cittadino have closed the gap. Trek Togger, another good run for him. He pulls it up in the points, followed by Takeda. Karen Minazuki up in the top 10, followed by Samaniego, Dollarton, Robinson, and Nova. Then there's Sam Young on the outside looking in. Justin Capps rockets up the 12th in points, followed by Aurelio, Curley, Bryant, Duncan, Jeffrey Finn Guy, Neil Evans, Andrew Robinson, and Kyle Corbett, your top 20. Lastly, let's take a look at the Rookie of the Year standings. Annie Thomas is still on top with that, with a huge lead over Joe Samaniego. Karen Minazuki is climbing up the ladder to 3rd place. Chris Dollarton in 4th, followed by Henry Nova, Connor Germain, Gene Sanford, Kyle Corbett, Ryan DiPetrio, and Alex Pedro. Next up, we're heading to the road course in Sonoma. Should be a great race as we're closing on the halfway point of the year. We hope you enjoyed this race, and we'll hope you'll join us next time. Thank you for watching the Utica Home Track Series.